Okay, so we are at question 2, and we were looking at a till slip for electricity. So it's a purchase prepaid electricity bill, and we're going to look at the questions as we had started or had ended off in the previous recording. We have about 3 questions. We have a big one as well with 7 marks, meaning there'll be a lot of calculations required. Okay, so in the first one, like I said, we will just start from where we left off. Here we need to get the meter number. Here we're looking for the missing value, which is B, and we're given the information for the tariffs, the electricity tariffs. All right. Okay, so we're going to look at the till slip or the tax invoice. In any type of financial document, you must read each and every detail, all right, so that you don't miss anything. So it's a tax voice number. We have the tax voice number, that number rather. We have the electricity. It's an electricity municipal prepaid, the VAT registration number, and the meter number, right? Bingo. So we have the meter number, which is 070329856769. Okay, so that is the meter number. Okay, so we have our answer to question 211, right? But we still have to continue. The domestic household tariff, the transaction sequence is as follows, and the amount is 1,200 Rand. Excuse me. And the electricity amounted to 1,130.43. However, the total is more. It's 1,300, right? So if the electricity is 1,130.43 and the grand total is 1.3, 1,300, meaning the difference would be the VAT, right? So there you have it. Simply, you get the difference from the grand total minus 1130.43, and you get your value B. Okay, so that will be the calculation that you need to give the examiner. So when it says determine, please make sure to show your calculation. Determine is another term for calculate. Okay, and be mindful of the mark allocation as well. Okay, so we're going to go to the big one. This is a partial residential electricity tariff excluding VAT. Okay, so we've noted that it does not have VAT, which we know VAT is 15%, is shown below. So we are told to determine the number of kilowatt units Mike purchased. Okay, so we need to know how much units he purchased. And this is excluding VAT. Okay, so since the electricity amounted to, we have to go back to the tariff slip. The electricity amounted to 1,300 Rand. Excuse me, it amounted to 1,130.43 cents. So that is the total cost of the electricity without VAT. Okay, so this is the amount that we'll be working with. Okay, we'll be working with 1,130.43. Okay, so we'll have a quick calculation here. Okay, so just not to cover the important information, we'll just write it here. I hope it's visible for us. Okay, let's see. So now we're going to use the tariff structure to calculate the amount of units that were used based on the amount, right? So it's going to be a bit tricky to decipher, but we need to find out how much. So when we look at tariffs, it's a bit of a lengthy one, especially since we're only given the the amount that was used, and we're not given the amount that was paid and not the number of units, which is something that we're looking for now. Okay, so now looking at the tariff, we have block 1, which is from 0 to 350 kilowatt consumption. The cost is 2 rand, 19 per kilowatt per hour. Okay, so it means if it's more than 350, then it's 2 rand and 91 cents. Okay, so if a person is used for, meaning 1 kilowatt, so between 350, so it's 350 kilowatt per hour. So we need to find out how much it was. So for block A, for 350 kilowatt per hour, we need to find out how much that cost multiplied by 2 rand and 19. Okay, so why are we doing this? So we need to find out because 2 rand 19 is basically the unit cost. So it's the kilowatt cost. So for 1 kilowatt, it is 2 rand 19. So how much will it be for 350 kilowatts? All right, so I'll use my calculator here. Multiply by 2 rand 19, it gives us 766 rand 50. So that would be for A. This is for the first block, block A. So for every amount of, the more units you use, then it becomes more. So the more units we use, it increases the cost, the tariff, which is the cost per the amount of electricity you use, then it's more, right? So since the maximum that was used, that was paid, was 1,130,43, right? So we need to find the difference here. So it'll be 1,130,43,43, minus 77,766. Let me check if it's correct. Yes, 766,50. This should give us 363,93. Okay, so this is the amount that falls under block 2. So just let's be mindful here. This is block 1 and this is block 2. Okay, so this is block 1 and this is block 2. So for block 1, the maximum is 350. So you have to use a maximum of 350. That is 2 rand 19 cents. But here we need to use a different tariff, which is so it means, yes, so here we need to use a different tariff. All right. Okay, so I'll just start from block 2. Okay, so we found that for block 1, it's 766.50, right? And we know that our maximum is 1130,43. So that I just don't lose you too much there. All right, then we will minus the 76,50, which gives us 363,93. Okay, 363,93. Okay, so this is the amount that we'll be using now. All right, so we're gonna move on. So 363,93. So this falls under block 2, but we don't know how many kilowatts per hour this is. So we need to divide it by the cost, which is the tariff, which is 2 Rand, comma 91 to find out how many kilowatts were actually used. So we're reversing 2 Rand, comma 91, which is a total of 125 kilowatts per hour. So it says 0.0. So that is kWh. So it's 125 kilowatts per hour that are used in block 2 and 350 kilowatts per hour that are used in block 1. So let's remember, always go back to the question. Determine the number of kilowatts per hour used, units Mieke purchased. So we're going to add 350, excuse me. Okay, so add here 350 kilowatts per hour plus 125 kilowatts per hour. That gives us the total that was purchased by Mieke. So it's 125 plus 350. That is a total of 475 kilowatt per hour. And that would be your calculation, right? So you are free to go back and look at how I did this question or broke it down for you. A lot of calculations, but just remember that tariffs, this is how tariffs work. So obviously the maximum is this amount, and we have to use, remember that you have to use the 1,130.43 and not the 1,300 because this is without VAT. Okay, this is excluding VAT. All right, so this will be your answer. Okay. I might have lost you guys there for a bit, but we will continue. Okay. So we will move on to the next question, this next part of question 2. So here we are still looking at Mieke, and we will read the questions again. Okay. So question 2.2.1 says, write down the monthly installment for the rent to own option. Okay, so write down the monthly installment for the rent to own option. And 2.22, calculate, excluding VAT, the cash price of the solar system unit. And after 7 years, Mieke decides to buy out of the rent to own option. So you have to therefore calculate the extra amount she has to pay to compared to buying. She has to pay compared to buying this home solar system unit for cash. Okay, so these are very big questions. So the first one says write down the monthly installment for the rent to pay option. So you need to write it down. And the keyword here is calculate. What are you calculating? Excluding that, you have to calculate the cash price of the home solar system unit. And yes, let's look at the information that we're given. So Mieke plans to install a home solar system unit consisting of solar panels, a battery, and inverter. She sees the advertisement below in a community newspaper showing the 2 different payment options. All right. Okay, so we have 2 payment options. We have the rent to own and we have the cash price. Okay, so the first question says, write down the monthly installment. Okay, if it says write down, it means the answer is already there. You just need to pick it out from the information that you're given. So the monthly installment would be for 7 years, pay for 7 years at 1,549 per month. Additional costs, this is 782 initiation fee and a buyout after rental period 7820. So the monthly premium or installment is the one that is per month, 1,549. Okay, that is your answer for number 221. And we'll go to 222. So here it says calculate, however, excluding that. So your answer must not include that, it must exclude it without it. So we must calculate the cash price of the home solar system. So we're looking at the cash price option, and this price includes VAT. So we know how much VAT is, right? So the simplest way to calculate VAT honestly is 15 divided by 100. So we're finding the percentage of the VAT from the amount of 7,8,200. Okay. And when we calculate, it will give us 11,730. 11,730. Please be mindful, this is the VAT. This is just the VAT. Okay, so this is the VAT amount. But the question says calculate the cash price of the solar system unit without the VAT. So what do we do from here? We will say 78,200 minus 11,730. Eleven 730. That will be in a total amount of 66,470. Okay, and this will be your answer for number 2.22. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. Question 223. Okay, so we were at question 223, okay? Okay, so looking at this very nicely big question, made question. So it says after 7 years, maker decides to buy out the rent to own option. So meaning he chose option 1, right? So we need to look at the details of buying using option 1 to purchase. So it says calculate the amount she has to pay compared to buying the amount solar system unit for cash. Okay, so we have to compare, right? So we know that buying for cash is 78,200. So we need to compare whether it will be more or less. So considering the fact that after 7 years, Mika decides to buy out the rent to own. So meaning he doesn't use this option anymore. So he wants to be excluded from the option. All right. Okay, so this is buyout after rental is, so it says the buyout after rental period is 7,820. Okay, so it means you have to pay, according to this option, you pay for 7 years, 1,549 Rand per month. Okay, so we need to find that amount, how much she's paid for the past 7 years. Okay, so we'll have 1,549,549, right? So for 12 months, which is a year, we need to find out how much that is. That is 18,588. So this is how much she's paid in a year. This is 1 year. All right. So we'll have to take that amount, 588, and we need to know how much that was in 7 years. How much she's paid for the past 7 years. Then we get 130,116. Yes. Okay. So this is for 7 years. Okay. And the buyout after rental period is 7,820. So meaning calculate the extra amount she has to pay compared to buying the home solar system unit for cash. So because she's bought out for the past 7 years, she decides to buy out. So the fee that she has to pay is 100. She's paid so far 130,116 plus 7,820. That is the buyout after rental. So that's how much she has to pay because she's buying out from the contract. Okay, so it's 7,820. That is 137,936. This is how much she has paid so far. So when we compare this amount to the cash option, so we know that the cash option was, or rather is, 78,200. This is a huge difference, right? Now let's go back to the question. The question says, calculate the extra amount she has to pay. Okay, so now we have to find the difference. Okay, we need to find the difference because it says what's the extra amount she had to pay. So not how much she paid totally and we're done. No, we need to find out the extra amount she paid. Okay, so that is 137,936 minus 78,200. That will be the amount, the extra amount she paid compared to she paid 59,736 Rand more, right? Compared to if she had bought it cash. Okay, now the answer to this very, very nice and long question is 59,736. Please do make sure that you check your calculations, double check. Okay, please do double check your calculations and also the last question as well. All right, so this 5-mark question requires all of this calculation. All right. Okay, so we will continue with the next question in the next recording.